Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a conversation about one of the most remarkable traveling operations in the world of live entertainment. City to city, night to night. From rings to roads, the rhythm and resilience of circus logistics. Please join me in welcoming our moderator, Reji John, editor, Stat Publishing Group, and our distinguished speakers, Jasmine Straga, director, World Circus Federation, Veneta Stefanova, director, Stefani Art Agency, Jonas Bengtsson, founder, Creative Freight Europe, Yannick Chapados, director of logistics and site construction, Cirque du Soleil Entertainment Group. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome them to the stage.
Art form that travels to the remotest part of the world, which is circus. I think perhaps that's the reason why I managed to see circus before a movie. And I think in the presentations that were made in the morning, I think there was a lot of data points that came in. I was taking some kind of notes on what I managed to gather. If I'm not wrong, what Jasmine said is this is particularly for the industry and for the freight industry. Frame circus not as freight but as culture. Did I get it right?
That's right.
Okay, so I think it makes sense. How do you frame some of these things? I think the narrative, then the story that you create around is something that's how that people create perceptions. I think in the next 30-35 minutes, what we are going to discuss is the intricacies and the complexities of a moving entertainment, that circus, and all of us are actually part of creating this experience for the people who actually come to watch. Yes, we are the invisible part of, all of us are the invisible part of this, but without this, we can't have entertainment, we can't have the experience of people or delighting the customers. Since Veneta and Jasmine already has been introduced and we have a fair idea about it, I would like Yannick, if you can briefly introduce yourself. I know Cirque du Soleil is quite a famous brand of circus. I had a fortune of seeing one of your productions in Mumbai a few years back. That was Bazaar. I managed to take my family for that circus. And I know I've been following this. And I also know the forwarding and logistic partners that you work with, Atlas Air, that actually moves some of your productions. Take us through, briefly introduce yourself, your involvement with Cirque du Soleil, and what actually keeps you awake apart from the conference call that we do at night like this.
Basically, like you presented, my name is Yannick Chapados, and I am the Logistic and Site Construction Director for Cirque du Soleil. I have been working for the company for now nearly 25 years. I occupy many roles at Cirque. I am an electrician by trade, so I'm a Sparky. I started at the circus as an electrician, and what I love about the circuses is that you get to do everything that you wish you want to do. Right. So I grew up into the companies, and I become a site director, a show director, and at some point they picked me up into do logistics because this is something that I really like to do. And I've been in many places in the world, and I understood very well the challenges to tour the world and all the logistic needs and the custom needs as well.
Jonas, I would like you to introduce yourself. I know that you were on the panel like yesterday, but yeah, something that is specific to circus that your company Creative Freight is doing.
Yeah, I represent and transport Circus Record, which is a same type of circus as Cirque du Soleil, but in a way smaller scale. This circus is founded by a girl called Tilda Björfors. That is a fairly known creator in the modern new circus division. But we have done most parts of the world by now with both ocean and air freight. Yeah. And it's because of them that I ended up in Bangkok this week.
Me turn to Veneta. been producing and touring for the last 30 years. When you are designing a new production, at what point in time you think about logistics and think about logistic partners?
When we start the creation, it is half of our thoughts and the work, it is the logistic, not only the artistic side of the show. Because we need, we can't, we want to make the greatest show with the best acts, but if we cannot bring them to our country, then it's not possible. Even the logistic, what I was thinking, it's a part of the creation of the act, that the artists start thinking, if they create this kind of act, can they move with this prop to another circuses? For example, the artists from Ethiopia, I have a lot of experience with them. They never do autocarnets, and the shipment is so complicated that they try to travel with the props together with them. So they cannot create the acts which are very big, with the big troops or big prop or something. So the logistic it's extremely big part of our job. Even if we want to book a big acts in China, because usually their troops are huge with the big props and big decors, we always have to think how we're gonna move this to Europe, for example. And is it possible this circus can afford to pay this logistic cost, because it's very expensive that. So yeah, it is very, very important part.
Jasmine, you represent a governing body, advocacy body for the Circus Art under the patronage of Princess Stefani of Monaco. Yeah, you can have this wonderful creative art forms and different productions. These needs to travel around the world, across the borders, which means that logistics plays a critical role. How do you actually work with the different stakeholders and government agencies, customs organizations, to make sure that there is a seamless process of helping these productions to travel around different parts of the world?
Yeah, I think for us what's really important is having a very good network and really good relationships. I think relationships and knowing the people that are working on the logistics side of our business is the most important, because what we're doing is so bespoke, it's so unique. And for a big example, jumping back to what Veneta was saying about the props, one big thing, they ask the artist to try and create a prop that fits into a bicycle box. So this way it can travel with them, because it has to be classed as sporting equipment if it wants to go in the oversize and not and come with inside their baggage limit, for example. These are just simple things, but it actually creates big barriers for us. And we've had situations where they've checked these sporting props and they've said, oh, well, no, it doesn't come under that. We're going to then charge you maybe $1,000 or $2,000 more. We had a situation even sending prop from Australia to Russia that cost $8,000. And this is just for one artist with an aerial umbrella. And what happens at last minute, we had to get this prop cut down into pieces, which creates a structural and also a safety factor, which we need to make sure that the artist is also safe performing on these props. So having not just these logistical partners, but also engineers and other people within our networks that we can work with to be able to adapt what we need to be able to make the show happen.
Yannick, take us through what actually, or give us a sense of the true scale of what moves for a single Cirque du Soleil production. In fact, when I actually saw the circus, I think it was in 2017 in Mumbai, and I think you had a production, you had a show also, a few shows in Delhi as well. I never actually imagined and could actually understand the logistic behind moving everything from, this is like you're putting up a tent in an open ground and creating that massive experience for someone who comes to watch it, someone who's as young as a 2-year-old kid to somebody who is 80-year-old. I've seen all of them at the circus performance. What actually goes behind before that tent is put up and the first show is on?
It's going to be a month and month of planning. Is on my part, I'm already working on tour planning for 2029, where I'm being asked how long it takes to go from Antwerp to Shanghai with all the geopolitical issue that we have in the world and the Suez Canal being closed. So we start process a long time in advance. But if I go into the logistic and explain a little bit how we work at Cirque, we categorize the equipment in two categories. We have the infrastructure and show asset. The infrastructure are based per continent. Example, we have 2 shows in North America and we have 2 kits of big top with their trailers and all that. And there are basically the size in trucks, we are touring with 74 trailers in North America for 1 big top shows. We have 2 of them in North America. We have 2 of them in Europe. We have 1 in Australia right now that's traveling in sea containers. We have also an arena show that is just landed in Kazakhstan yesterday with 2 Boeing 747. And we have also an infrastructure that's on its way to South America, to Brazil, because I think our show that's presently in Spain will go play in South America. So in order to be able to play everywhere in the world, and some of my colleagues will agree with me, not all the big top, the bleacher and the infrastructure can go everywhere. We have codes and norms to respect in every country. We have also voltage and frequencies. So all the infrastructure stays in the continent where they are. And when the show moving continent, we're only gonna ship the show asset, the stage, the sound, the light, the video equipment. So example, when a show will leave North America to go to Europe next year, it's only about 30, 35 containers that we're gonna ship to Europe. But when we move a show between Singapore and Australia, we're moving 85 containers. So we're moving the whole infrastructure together. So we have a lot of equipment to move around with a very small teams. And this is why we need a lot of times in advance to be able to operate that way.
Yannick, just to understand, so how many shows as of now you have around the world? I could hear some in Brazil, in South America, Europe. So how many shows as of now you have shows around the world?
Well, I just want to clarify that on my side at Cirque du Soleil Entertainment Group, I only take care of the Cirque du Soleil trademarks. So at the Cirque du Soleil Entertainment Group, we have Blue Man Group, we have V-Stars that take care of Paw Patrol, we have The Works, we have other small events like this, but I only take care of what it's branded as Cirque du Soleil. And right now we have 5 big top shows touring the world, and we have 1 arena shows, like I said, in Kazakhstan, so with that 6. And we have also seasonal shows that I take care. We have our Christmas shows. They have 4 units that's gonna be touring USA in the coming autumn. And also we are coming to Europe with that Christmas show. We are starting to plan on that as we speak. And I'm not counting the resident shows because we have many shows in Las Vegas. I do take care of shipping, costume, and stuff like that to those shows, but they're not heavily logistic. They're not, the requirement for logistic is not heavy.
One more follow-up question. You talked about show assets as well as infrastructure. So you have ocean freight, container freight, and air freight. What's the kind of volume that goes on for a show on the air freight side? These are actually the show assets that go on?
Yeah, on the air freight, we're only gonna fly the show asset. And just to give you a recent example, is to Astana, we have flown 2 747-400 aircraft. And then some other shows will require about 15,000 kilos on extra commercial flight. But we're talking about 2 Boeing for the show asset. That's a normal size for our shows. When we design shows, we give a set of parameters to the designer and say, we must fit in 2 planes maximum. We need to set up a bit of a barrier, otherwise they will fill in a 3rd plane.
I'm sure that the current geopolitical situation and certain airspace being closed, the jet fuel prices on high, I'm sure that Cirque du Soleil must be looking very, very closely at the cost of moving these things around.
Yes, the fuel price here in North America and Europe as well is very high. We're looking at 30% cost increase. We obviously didn't plan for that into our loss and profit and cost and all that for the business case when we play cities. I'm sure it hurts everybody in the entertainment industry. The geopolitical issues are a big issue right now. I presently have 27 containers stuck in Jebel Ali because of the Strait of Hormuz is closed. So we had a show there called Corteo was supposed to play the Gulf area. Now I can't get access to my gear. And this gear was supposed to be used, the moving light was supposed to be used into a new creation that is needed in Montreal in September. So now we at the brink to say, do we fly the equipment? Do we wait one more week to see if the situation will change? So we're constantly on the edge. And this is pretty much what keeps me awake at night.
Jonas, what are the fundamental differences in terms of providing a logistics for something like this and the conventional cargo movement? Because this is not something that any forwarder, any logistics service provider can actually do. This is about being specialist, and not general service provider.
Yes, this is swinging back to one of the questions I had yesterday. What a difference between a generalist cargo handling and a company like Creative Freight or Rocket Cargo, one of the big dedicated for production freight forwarders do, and that is that we have a willing to do the extra thing because we know the urgency of what we are doing. In difference of the joke did yesterday, try to call DHL a Saturday night on a loadout when the container is not there. It's going to be welcome to DHL. Our opening hours is 8 to 5. Please get out of here, click. And if I would work with Cirque du Soleil or any of other clients and they stand somewhere and call me at 2 a.m. in the morning, I will pick up the phone wherever I am in the world, and I would have a problem in Bangkok or Los Angeles or London or wherever. I would call my office, and they have the same idea on what we are doing and how it's supposed to be done. So I will get someone that will pick up the phone because I know my agents or my partners or contact details for whoever runs this project. And that is the key element to success for traveling big circuses or big productions around the world, is that you need to have a partner that you can trust on, that trusts you. So when I tell my client, even if it's their core or whoever, that, okay, you're going here, if you have any issues, here is my number to my local guy. You can always call him direct and skip me and just let me know what the problem is and we will deal with it afterwards. So, because some things happens and you need to action it now, and it can't always have to pass through a main office or a sales rep or something. Sometimes some things always need to be dealt with instantly, and a person of this magnitude working for Cirque du Soleil know that some stuff will cost if it's panicking, but he also knows that we have to deal with it now and take the flows of costs and things afterwards. And especially like a client like Cirque du Soleil or Formula One or whatever, it's a prestige brand to ship around, which makes big companies like UPS and DHL very, very keen on showing, look, we are doing Cirque du Soleil or we're doing the Formula One. And it's not their thing to do. Please get out of this. Do general cargo, ship Volvo parts, I don't care. A company like the Cirque du Soleil needs to work with a company like Rocket Cargo or or one of the big brands around the world who have offices all around, who is represented all the way around. And that is the difference between a key to success and welcome to DHL. Our office is open between 8 and 5.
Okay, this is what I have been hearing in the last few days, and I think it's not just about the live events and the logistics project. Of course, that requires a certain amount of specialized treatment, specialized approach, which is correct. I think I hear it also from other manufacturing sectors like automotive, pharmaceutical. If I'm a pharmaceutical manufacturing company, my competency is about discovery of new drugs and getting. Now, how do you transport that to a market under a certain temperature controlled environment? Of course, I know what is a temperature controlled environment, but if I'm going to a logistics service provider, I would expect that service provider to tell me the solutions. I can't be offering a solution. I have this problem. I need a solution. I think it was yesterday with Radu that I had this conversation. I'm a creative person creating art pieces which I would want to be taken into a destination. Give me a solution that is acceptable to me in a condition that is being laid out. It's going to be a lot of specialization required. I wouldn't want, like, I create all these beautiful creatives to be played on the screen. I just don't understand. I just need that to be done. My production guys should actually do it. That's what I expect. I think that's the kind of desire that every person who creates these kind of shows around the world would want from a logistics service provider, and that's what all of you expect. Maybe from your own experience, both from Cirque du Soleil, Veneta, as well as from Jasmine, you have movement of people. These are great artists, and then you have movement of things. What are some of the biggest challenges? What keeps you, like, of course, you work with a specific agency, specific logistics service provider. Maybe one or two biggest pain points, complexities. Maybe Jasmine, you go with.
Definitely the geopolitical issues happening right now really affect the circus, because a lot of our casts...
That's beyond your control.
Yeah, beyond our control, but we actually have to control it because we need to find solutions for these issues. So it's a matter of, for example, having to get a Russian performer into the USA or into Europe, and how are we going to route them there? These are complex sort of situations sometimes with what's happening geopolitically, and it's not just getting them there, but it's how do we pay them without the SWIFT system? What are all the options available to us? And then also shipping the props, the local customs and quarantine rules. One prop might not be able to get in because of the type of wood it is, or because it didn't have the right paperwork that they were expecting. So we've got a lot of these sorts of challenges that really are impacting us right now. These keep us up quite late at night. Visas. Okay.
Veneta? In terms of the very specific challenges that you face.
Visas. Yeah, it is very challenging every time, because the artists, they don't travel from home to home. They travel around the world. So when we move, for example, one troupe from Mongolia to Europe, and then they get the next contract in Germany, in another country, they cannot make visa in the first country when they arrive, because usually they go with the Schengen visa, and it is not allowed to make a visa in this country. So that's why we need to plan everything much, much earlier, which sometimes is not possible because the Christmas contracts always come first, and then we get the summer contracts. And for example, in Mongolia, it takes more than 45 days to make a visa. Yeah, it's very, very difficult. And yeah, the visa and the equipment is the most challenging for us. But I'm looking at this of the more personal point of view, because our job is very responsible. We are changing lives. The artists trust us. When they go to the long-term contract, they can sell their house, they bring their lives, their kids, they completely change everything. So we need to be sure where they're sending them. Is it secure? How they feel? It's really, I think it's very personal, but I like my job too, because we make so good connections with them, and that's why I really hope that in the future years, the AI cannot replace us.
Yeah.
It is really this contact what we make. It is very treasure. I value much. It is more because after the contracts we stay forever for friends for many, many years. So now we have friends all around the world. So we are rich people. We are happy. We are blessed.
Yeah.
I'd love to just extend on that, just to get you to really understand how special the circus can be with changing lives. I've got one student, for example, from Ethiopia, and she was from a war-torn region in Ethiopia and living in a house without a roof and everything. And then she's been able to create a really successful career now in the circus. She's now built a 2-story home back in Addis Ababa. She's supported her nephew through schooling, paid for her sister's cancer treatment. She's supporting her parents. So there's a very big fall-on effect from these jobs for these artists. And so it's such a big responsibility for us to ensure that everything goes smooth for them, to also give them that security for their future and to create a domino effect, I guess, in their local communities.
Also, we work with young artists. For example, just they finish school, they jump out from homes, they have language barrier. First time they travel abroad, especially these special countries like Asian countries, the African countries, and it's very difficult for them. We need to be like their mother and father, you know, to be with them all the time and say, first you go and open this door, and then you go that door. You know, it's like our kids, they become our kids.
Yannick, I don't know whether you can recollect any specific incidents or stories from your own experience in terms of the most complex place or the country that you toured and you had a problem in terms of getting that show, because I think the regulatory framework of different countries are different. It's very challenging. You don't have a uniform operating system. What was that one country or the place where you had to take the show, but it was the most challenging place to be?
Well, in general, for the whole equipment, including all container, we cannot deny that getting 85 containers of circus equipment into Australia is really complicated with the inspection. We just went through it. I've been through it many times. It's so hard to be able to clean all the little crack and holes of all your equipment, and they always find something. They have to find something, right? So it is very complex for the tours to go to Australia, but it's not the most complex in the sense that this is something we know and we can work with it. There's other things that are very complex into countries that won't accept our current document. You know, I'll give you an example. We just went to Turkey with 88 carnets, and they accept 88 carnets, but they're so specific as no more than 1 carnet per truck. And we had to do a carnet split, and it takes hours and hours and hours of meeting with the agent there to make them understand that. Other things that I think nobody talk about, and this is the reality that's becoming more common of modern show equipment, is batteries. Touring batteries getting harder and harder because they're not new batteries. We have used battery. We have used the Walt, Milwaukee, the N tools batteries are very difficult to tour with. And I would say we have a show called Kuza that is in Australia right now. Our costumes are amazing, but they use real ostriches' feathers. So how are we trying to tell them to stop using real feathers? Are things that are very difficult to tour with. Another example, going to Brazil, we're not allowed to bring makeup. we're not allowed to bring physio tape. Anything medical is not allowed to bring in. So this is difficult to properly declare on the paperwork.
Okay, I'm a bit curious. I'm from India, so I just don't know how difficult it was to get into India and to have the bazaar show.
I was not too much implicated into importing Bazaar into India. There was one of my friends that was there. I was still on tour when Bazaar went to India, and I think the most complex thing about India was the heat.
The heat.
Oh, the heat. Okay.
The heat, the weather, yeah, for everyone, all the workers. That's the one thing they keep talking about.
Yeah. So yeah.
Because also we're touring in a big tub, and big tub it gets very hot in a big tub if you don't have the proper air conditioning.
There are challenges in terms of there are complications, there are complexities. You said you are a call away. You just people need to pick up the phone, and then call, and you will respond any time of the day or night when you are actually providing service to a circus company or any of the other live events. How do you when it comes to customs, when at the port of entry, if they are asked to open containers and really skim through all of those inside, how do you manage, because you are actually running against deadlines? How do you help some of these companies?
The first and most important thing to do is you need to have some kind of it's impossible to know everything about every border everywhere in the world. So you need to have first of all, you need to have a network where you can call someone. So if you want to go for Mexico, for instance, they, prior to FIFA, decided to cancel the ATA Carne thing, just like that. And I think it became some kind of shitstorm because they changed the thing back to allowing ATA Carnes just a week. I think it was a week they were without Carnes, and I got the information from my office that, no, they are canceling ATA Carnes. Okay, so we need to do temporary import. So, yeah, and it's cost this much, and you need to pay 90% tax and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And my chamber of commerce in Sweden was like, no, you don't allow that. And then my agent called me in the middle of the night and was like, hey, they just opened for ATA Carnes again. So, okay, so I woke up in the morning, called my chamber and said, do a carne for Mexico. Oh, they don't allow carnes. I know they do allow carnes since yesterday. Start up the carne process. They're flying tomorrow. No, but they don't accept. Okay, if they don't accept, if you make a carne and they don't accept it when it comes there, I will give you $100,000. But make me the carne, because I know I'm right, and you know that I am always right when I tell you something. Oh, yeah, okay, we make the carne. I made the carne, I got it signed up with the Mexican government website and everything, and Emil, my chamber contact, calls me on the evening and says, I think you made a fool of yourself. I didn't. Are you sure? I'm always sure. Okay. Call me when it's over. And then I just sent him a picture of the stamped carne in Mexico and said, don't ever question my information, because I'm always 2 steps ahead of you. And it was like, oh, yeah, that's fine. Oh, I'm sorry. And that's the thing that we do in the networks. We talk to each other, we explain to each other, we update each other with very various important information. And that's also the next problem, that we need to get more countries into the ATA Carne system. We, even if it's, from most of my clients, thinks it's the most stupid document in the whole world, and it's so bad, and it takes so much time, and the rules on what you put in a carne for different parts of the world is always a winding road, because everyone needs different information, or even translations or HS codes or everything. But we need to do a standardized carne for everyone, that everyone goes into. And we also need to keep on working on the electrical ATA carne system, which is now coming up in Europe. They were supposed to start from Monday, but I think they have a speed bump, so now you have to have the physical and the digital carnet with you for 2 weeks, which is stupid, but it is what it is.
You know, so important it is to have some connection within customs departments in different countries, because then you know that I have a connection there. I pick up a call, make a call, and then I can work things around.
Yeah, of course, you all have contacts, and I mean, I run, or someone from my office always. We're up at the customs office in Arlanda, probably about 5 or 6 times a week, and the problem is that it's like everything, it's all depending on the custom officer's mode, or if he came home yesterday and his wife wanted to divorce him. Everything can hit everyone, and it always does when I'm there. But it's the thing that you need to know what is the right way to deal with a customs officer and how to express what you need to have done in a way that makes him understand that, yeah, I think he is right. I think he knows what he's talking about, and I think this is the right way to do it.
Thanks. I think we are almost towards the end of the last 5 minutes of the conversation. ATA carnet is a word that has come again and again. This is basically passport for goods. Basically, you're taking goods into a country, and then you need to take it back. So regulations, customs play a significant role. Veneta made a point about centralized digital dashboard. Now I get a confusing message in terms of that you have a digital copy, and then you need certain places they require a physical printed sheet of it as well. To all of you, in terms of technology that is evolving, AI can't replace circus artists, but I think technology can play a significant role in terms of documentation process, getting the visibility, transparency of the processes. So to all of you, what do you think is the demand, is the ask that you have from the customs department or from different countries, where they really want these artists to kind of come and perform? So if you can, Jasmine, if you can, yeah.
Yeah, I was quite interested yesterday to hear about this Etihad technology of being able to track, and also seeing when your items go off course. This is so important for us, because you're not just moving commercial goods that sit on a shelf in a store. If we miss our deadlines and we miss that opening night, I mean, you're up for millions of dollars some shows will lose. And our industry is so dependent on word of mouth. And in this age of social media and technology, word of mouth travels very fast. So one night missed can kill our entire tour, and it has a very, very big impact on us. So I think this Etihad technology is very, very fascinating for the circus industry, to be able to know exactly where your items are, what condition they're in. I think this is very, very valuable. I was very interested.
Veneta, have you missed any shows on the opening show?
You have time? Yeah, but I want to say that circus people, we are fighters. We give up very hard, only in the last possible way. So it is not if we have a problem. We always have a problem. The question is, can we resolve this, and how fast we can do that? So a few years ago, we booked one horses troupe from Russia. They're supposed to go to France. Yeah, and they have to transport the horses with the big truck, and the people fly by plane to France. So they both started to travel together, but the artist arrived and the horses not. They were stuck in the border between Russia and Ukraine. And the director of the circus said, I need them for the premiere. I invited all journalists, press. It's really, really important. And usually the director says, if you are not in the premiere, I cancel your contract. They don't need you anymore. This is the business. So we were lucky. We found the similar horses in France, the only one troupe which working on the similar way. And the circus artists, they are very adaptive. They are also, they know that they have to do their job in any possible way. So our performers have to work 1 week on the different horses, which is normally is not possible. Can you imagine the the horse riders, and they go in the competition and they give them the different horse. But they did. So, next one. We book one troop from Ethiopia. We send them to Kazakhstan. Of course, they took the prop with them with the plane, as we talked before. But then the whole program moved to Georgia, to Tbilisi, by truck. So they finished work in Tbilisi, very good, very well. So what happened? The airport in Tbilisi is not so big. They don't have so big planes landing over there. And they're not able to send the prop back. We tried so many ways. The only normal way is to send the prop back to Kazakhstan and then Ethiopia. But no one from the director said, this is not my business. I can send it from here, and that's it. So unfortunately, the artists lost their prop. They have to leave it in Georgia.
Yannick, did you have any experience of missing the opening show?
Not that many related to logistics. There's tons of it related to weather condition, windstorm, to lightning strikes. So there's many that, but we do have an experience. Well, the recent one with Corteo in the Persian Gulf, that's an old tour cancellation, right? So that's a good example. But another one as example, our Blue Man group was on its way to Colombia, and I believe that the boat captain had to catch up on delays, and he just decided to not stop in Cartagena and just keep going. And so we had to cancel our show in Colombia, and we ended up to our container in Lima, where we didn't have a show planned there. So that was a show cancellation related to logistics.
Thanks. I'll turn to the audience if you have any questions. Before that, Jonas, in terms of technology, use of technology, has that really enabling your business, or it's still phone calls and the coordinations and contacts that you have?
I mean, we are always looking on more advanced IA assistance for customs papers, for making ATA carnets, for all that systems. And I mean, if I look at one of my production for Circus du Soleil, we are on one or maybe two ATA carnets. I just have a quick question for Yannick. On the production you're traveling with now, how many ATA carnets do you have for that production?
Well, for if I talk to Ovo that just landed in Kazakhstan, I have 32 carnets.
Oh, I thought it was way more.
Well, we own currently, we have with the Chamber of Commerce, we have 98 valid ATA carnet right now. The reason why we don't have that many is because to have valid ATA carnet, we need to have the equipment back in Canada to be able to renew it and have reissue the carnet. So all the tours that are been a while away and the shows that are on promoter market where they're responsible of importing and exporting our gear, this is all done in TIB.
Okay, that explains a lot.
Okay, questions from the audience? Okay, okay.
Hi, this question is for Yannick. Yannick, it's been a long time since we've spoken and worked together at Curios. Good to see you. This is Farah. Hello. So quick one for you. What do you think is the biggest problem that Cirque du Soleil is trying to solve right now for the business, separate from the geopolitical climate right now that you mentioned? You have your infrastructure stuck at the port at Jebel Ali in Dubai. So I'm just curious to know, what would you say is the biggest issue that Cirque du Soleil is trying to solve right now that is separate from the geopolitical issue?
Being a big circus like we are, to be honest, we have a lot of shows, and we one of our biggest issues also, and it's not part of my department, but it's to find place to go with our infrastructure. Because for some of you that have seen our big top and the number of show that truck we have, we need big sites, and big sites near the city centers are getting sparse, and more and more we have to go play in suburbs. So we are looking internally on how can we go back to the heart of the city? How can we go back downtown? Does that mean downsizing? Does that mean to have less truck? Does that mean, what does it mean? So we are in a big reflection right now to start going back into the downtowns and to be able to be closer to where the people buy tickets.
Great. Thanks, Yannick. Good to see you.
Mine was just a wild thought. You know, you said your futuristic venue was this beautiful vision of a tent, but a very modernized tent. And I'm just thinking with technology these days and just electronics, are there, you know, the fact that the Princess of Monaco is supporting the Federation, just are there any big companies or institutions that, as a group with all these connections, could help develop this kind of more remote, sustainable, mobile tent for the future? Like, are there these discussions that could be kicked off somehow, somewhere? Do you think there's a pathway for technology to help you design or create a vision of a more sustainable mobile tent structure? I just had this, what do you call it, Transformers vision when I saw that, where it's a you know.
Yeah, there's actually some things happening already around the world. So there's a circus called Brazil Jack in Sweden, and they've actually set up, they're trying to get to 100% of their show being run off solar power. And so they've built a system of solar panels that they're able to both put on the ground and also on top of the trucks themselves. And having them on top of the trucks is great because it means that they can travel from place to place. Even the type of fabric that they're using in the big tops, using a denser type of fabric that's able to hold your air conditioning system, your air better, and all of these kinds of things. So we are seeing these sorts of developments. I think one of the biggest issues that we have, though, is because we're up against so much red tape, especially since the pandemic, and people are running on such small margins, and still trying to catch up since the pandemic as well, that there's not a lot of money there to be able to invest in these kinds of things. And this is kind of where we come back to the World Circus Federation, because we're wanting to get governments to understand that we're a culture that they need to protect. So right now we're protected. We have 9 countries with UNESCO Intangible Heritage protection for circus arts. And then what we're also working in is getting inside the government framework. So not just UNESCO. UNESCO places the pressure on government to protect the circus. It places pressure on government to help put funding out towards circus projects, regional touring, these kinds of things. But then you need to get it written into that government policy. So Flanders is a really good example. Flanders has been able to write circus as a cultural heritage into their actual government policy. And this means that there has to be active, gosh, I've lost my words, mission from the government to be supporting the circus like this. And we've just put a submission in to the Australian Revive Cultural Policy, which is going to be our next cultural policy plan, which will shape the next 5 years of arts. And I'm not sure if you know, but circus actually often comes under physical theatre when you're applying for grants. And not many facets of the circus can even meet the criteria of physical theatre. So we're really advocating to get circus recognised as its own art form, an art form that has value, that's important to protect and carry on into the future, and for them to understand too that the circus is a conduit. We're protecting these ancient art forms from dying out. Mongolian contortion, jigget riding, all of these things that have been around for thousands of years. And it's not just the acrobats themselves, but even the people making the equipment. An example would be in Wuchao. They have people creating these beautiful handmade parasols, which foot jugglers juggle on their feet, and they do these beautiful acts with these parasols. And the knowledge of building those parasols is handed down through generations. Some of those families have been creating these for hundreds of years. And we're losing more and more due to, these families wanting to move, the young kids wanting to move to the city because it's more exciting. Like Yannick was talking about, the urbanization is a huge threat to the circus as well, and even to small shows. A lot of councils won't allow small shows to come in, especially if they have a horse or a dog or something like this. But even without the animals now, it's becoming more and more difficult. So it's about changing the way that we talk about our art form, ensuring that the protections are in place, and also advocating for ourselves and making the councils understand the value that we bring to their local economies as well.
I can actually, it's quite interesting to hear from Yannick that the urbanization, and I think you mentioned about it, there are just not enough open spaces in the city center, and the place that you get to put up a circus tent is like kilometers away from the city, and that's not the best thing. I remember the one that you did in Mumbai was right in the center of the city, which is Bandra Kurla complex, is the financial capital of India and of Mumbai. The problem is that real estate is really premium, and you will find that in the next 10 years probably there wouldn't be any open space there. It would be all high-rise buildings, commercial buildings. Yeah, so that's going to be a big challenge going forward, the urbanization, and then you will have to move these away from the cities and make people to travel all the way to watch some of these things. Okay, final closing comments from each one of you. Honest, you want some time? Yeah. Closing comments from all of you in terms of what is your ask from your logistics service providers. That's what, yeah.
I think just to understand how bespoke we are, and to be able to be flexible with the current way that you're doing logistics, and to be able to have that flexibility to adapt to our needs is so important. And this person-to-person relationship, we're working on so many different time zones in the circus, with the artists traveling, with the artists that are already on site, and with the tech crew. So it's really important to be able to, like you said before, having someone you can call in the middle of the night is so valuable for us. And yeah, I think this would be my closing. And to change the way you think about circus. Protect us. Help us live for another century.
We already have a network of circus performers and circuses, but we need a network from the logistic part, because each time when I work with different new country, I try to search, okay, which logistic company I should take? Do they make a road transport or air freight? I have no idea. What are the regulations of this country? And we're losing so much time, and I don't know how it's possible. Okay, we have AI, but we need some physical support, and not only support, but partners from different countries, which help us to enjoy you.
Yeah. Jonas?
I think one of the most important thing is to keep on working our own governments for easier customs clearances, easier processes, lower duty and tax regulations for the live industry in general, regardless if it's circus or music or sports. I mean, in Europe you pay 1.7% in duty, which you can't refund, and then you need to pay another 25% in VAT, that if you are unlucky you can't even refund. And for a circus like Cirque du Soleil or any kind of circus, we're talking a lot of money that you can't really come back into the system as long as we don't have a working system with the customs papers and customs clearances and those procedures. And this is something that every national Circus Federation or a head organization need to work with their local divisions, that you need to start talking with the governments on lowering those kind of fees. Same thing is talk with the Chamber of Commerce and see that, okay, why does a carnet in Sweden cost for... that's why I was touching my phone. Was out of respect. I just had ChatGPT check out how much a carnet cost, valued $100,000 valid for a year, bonded all the way around the world. And in Sweden it's $4,000, while in the US was similar. Germany was like 75 plus some deposit or guarantee funds. And that's just the thing. We need to get those kind of costs taken down, because new started contemporary circus, they can't afford to get a carnet worth that cost them, $4,000. They need to have an easy way, because in a Swedish, they will start touring in Norway and maybe in England or Switzerland, and they put it all in the car. And if the carnet costs $4,000 to create, they will go, oh, we didn't know about that, and then drive to customs, and then they get other implications if they get pulled over and if they become a customs exam, and then they call me in the middle and I go like, hey, we're stuck on the border, what do we do? And then I get another shitstorm And for me, as I love circus, Circor was my first client that I started driving. It's over almost 20 years ago now. I love the new circus productions. I think this is a totally awesome way to show off talent and dedication and willing to break all the physics law of why don't you fall down and break your neck when you do that. So I think this is something that everyone in the circus industry need to work, the Chamber of Commerce and the governments, to get all the fees and rates down. And that's the key for an ongoing living circus community.
Thanks. On this show, the final act belongs to Cirque du Soleil. Yannick, your final word.
My final word, but I want to thank everybody to put that event together, and really happy to be part of it. And next time I would like to be there live. One thing that it really come to get me, it's Jasmine opening statement is as a general call for our government to sit with us and listen to what we have to say, because we're not carrying a cargo full of goods that are going to be sold to customer in the country that will impact their economy and the workforce. So we are not heart. We're entertainment. We make people laugh. We make people happy. This is what our goal is. So why do you want to tax us on that? To give you an example, on April 2nd of 24, the country down south of my country, Canada, decided that we have an we have an HS code that we use to go through USA, which is tax-free for us. There's no VAT, no duties. It's called Circus Equipment and Menagerie. So for years we have used that HS code, and we went across the border tax-free. But on April 2nd, when they called that Liberation Day, the president there decided to put 25% duties on everything, theatrical, circuses, everything. And that was the one moment in my life I was telling myself, that's it, we're dead. Live performance is dead. If that's really true, if everybody has to pay 25-35% duties on equipment to go across the country and make people enjoying their life, laughing, have a good moment in a circus show, this is the death of the industry. And luckily, that duty went away. But I like the statement saying we should get together and talk to the government and try to have them listen to us.
Thanks. My recommendation to all of you is, if there is a circus in your city, please go and enjoy the circus. Take your family, take your friends, and let's support the circus. With that note, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Yannick, Jonas, Veneta, and Jasmine. Thank you so much.